Highland Park.
WVIE 107.3 FM Charlotte, Amalia, Virgin Islands.
The views and opinions expressed on the following show are not necessarily the views and opinions of WHPS, its affiliates, management, or sponsors.
It's that time, y'all. Black coffee, no sugar, no cream. Yeah, it's straight talk with Valerie. Come on. Black coffee, no sugar, no cream. Yeah, it's straight talk with Valerie. Come on. It's straight talk with Valerie. It's straight talk with Valerie. Come on. Black coffee, no sugar, no cream. It's straight talk with Valerie. Come on. Black coffee, no sugar, no cream. It's straight talk with Valerie. Come on. Black coffee, no sugar, no cream. Black coffee, no sugar, no cream. It's straight talk with Valerie. Black coffee, no sugar, no cream. It's straight talk with Valerie. Come on. Black coffee, no sugar, no cream. It's straight talk with Valerie. Black coffee, no sugar, no cream. It's straight talk with Valerie. Come on.
All right, so this isn't something that
No one's on there yet.
It doesn't have to be. This is live, so it'll record. We've been dealing with a situation. Sandra's older sisters, two girls that I have been in their lives for some years, and I view them as my own kids. All right, and so the situation that we've been dealing with their school, Elyria High in Elyria, Ohio, right? 6th Street, something like that.
Yeah.
So the problem has been dress code, and the dress code at school, there is no picture, there is nothing that shows what they can or can't wear. It's just all individual basis, right? We see you, we don't like it, you go home. Now I get it. They don't want skin to be shown too much up here, they don't want too much leg out, belly, whatever. Everybody does it. There's a certain group of people, though, certain skin color, that get to do it more than others. And they have been trying to basically deny that it has anything to do with their skin or shade of color, why they're being mistreated or sent home, okay? So this has been going on for weeks. And they just got to the school. They don't know these girls from no one. They've been getting sent home for what they're wearing. What's appropriate for them isn't appropriate, right? Like what's appropriate for other people, other females, other women, Caucasian women, it's okay, but it's not appropriate for them. So I have a problem right now because I've been extremely calm. I have a discussion with them. We have a talk. We hear both sides. We sit down. All the administrators, okay, are white women. Nothing against white women. I preferably like white women. Mm-hmm. It's a thing. Here's my issue. They continue to send them home. They continue to point them out. They continue to pull them out of class. They will wait until they are sitting down. Teachers haven't complained about how they're dressed. Women are walking around in booty shorts, crop tops, belly shirts, but let's go after the young black girl, okay? And this is how, and I am of sound mind and reasoning, so I understand. And I listen and I pay attention. But the longer you let someone talk, you find out the truth of what they're doing, okay? They have literally targeted my kids. And on top of suspending them for 2 days, and Nevaeh will tell you, I can get a little hot, pop a little fly, and I will say what I want to say and not care of how I say it. We talk about that. We discuss why it's not safe, right? Because I know that when a white man or woman points the finger, yells, or cries, a black man, woman, or child dies. And this is a problem, and it happens everywhere. But now it's starting to happen to my kids, okay? She was sent home again today. I don't need to show you what she's wearing. It's just the fact that this is what you guys are doing.
Unless you want to.
And she went to class.
For an hour.
For an hour. And this administrator, is the same one, pulls her out. Lets her know that, ask her if she has a jacket or something to put over. She says no, and if not, call your mom. One, they have already, not once, but twice, locked my kids in a room that my kids cannot physically walk out of on their own. They have to have a key put in the door and let out. I don't even know if that's legal. A situation happened today. Her mother comes up there to talk, get a jacket, whatever. And this cop, because they have police officers, Elyria PD, overseeing the school, right? Bunch of white men. There's this one guy. He's been really on the teacher's side, and I give them every room. I mean, imagine if you know me. I'm not coming at you crazy. I'm talking to you. I give them every room the benefit of the doubt, right? I just had a conversation with the girls about how easy it is for them to be removed by these people. And then I didn't know this happened. And she let me know that the cop, when dealing with her mother, made a comment in front of her and her mom. And the comment was, first her mom thought he said, "I'll smack you." So her mom says, "You ain't smacking me." And then he corrects himself. A police officer corrects himself and says, "No, I didn't say that. What I said is that if she was my daughter, I would smack her." You tell me and where that's okay. And then, so, you know, they give me the story. They tell me what's going on. So I call the school. I'm glad I didn't get the two administrators I've been dealing with for the past few weeks, right? I got an administrator or some administrator named Mr. Taylor for Team 4, Elyria High School. I need this known. And the funny part is, and it's not funny, is that when the situation happened and the scenario of striking my child was given way, and the fact of like, well, if she was my kid, I would smack. It was just the cop, her mom, and her. Maybe somebody off in the distance overheard it. But tell me why I call, and Mr. Taylor is completely aware of the comment that was made. In fact, they sat down and had a conversation over this comment that was made because they know they fucked up. I let him know off top. I want to have a conversation about what happened today. I would like to let you know a couple things about me. I am not an ignorant man. So I said I would love it if you give me the respect of having an honest conversation as men, right? We talk about this comment. I address the situation with, like, the clothing, what they're dressed like, the attitude, the mouth, whatever. They do not like Elyria, like the high school. Yes, Elyria High School. They do not like that Nevaeh has told them that, you know, one told them off. I can express myself. I can wear what I want as long as I'm, you know, covered up in a way. And they say, well, she's bringing too much attention to herself. So I said, one, stop sexualizing my kid. Because you have all these other women walking around, belly open, crop top, and you're letting them do it. You don't say nothing to them. They can walk by together and you're going to pull Nevaeh out. When I mentioned the comment about the cop, Mr. Taylor said, well, listen. Mr. Taylor's a white man. He wanted to discredit. He said he wasn't saying that he was going to smack Nevaeh. He was saying if that was his daughter, he would smack her. So, you know me, I like scenarios. I said, okay. I said, listen, what if there was someone you care about, Mr. Taylor? He said, okay. I said, listen to me. That person you would do everything and anything for. He said, okay. I said, okay. What if I came up to you and said, if she was mine, I'd punch the shit out of her. He said, well, that's not what the officer... I said, look, I already see where you're at. So I need you to understand something. When your officer, the Elyria PD police officer, addressed that comment in a scenario, he gave room to the fact that what he wants to do is put his hands on my kid. What he said to her mom was that if she was mine, if no one was here, if I could do it without getting caught, I would smack fire out your kid. That's what he said. And the guy, and Mr. Taylor, kept spinning around the fact that he didn't say what I was saying. I said, so if a student walked into school and said, I'm about to shoot all you guys, would he be allowed to be in the school? And then he goes, what do you mean shooting? Oh, sir, stop. You ain't about to trap me. I told him, I said, sir, I said, regardless if it's true or not, I'm going to be there. I'm bringing a lawyer. I need your entire administration to be sitting down at the table. I need your police officer that threatened bodily harm to a 17-year-old black female student. Do you understand when a white person looks at a person of color and says, I'll smack you, I'll kill you, I'll call the cops, I'll get that they die? I was just telling the girls about how dangerous this actually is, because these stories pop up everywhere. And this Elyria police officer decided to make a scenario about striking my kid. And they are more than aware, because when I called, the people that I called to talk to instantly knew what was going on. And he tried every which way to navigate through being trapped. Okay, because I'm not ignorant. The conversation was recorded. I have proof. I have proof that this administrator that's supposed to oversee our kids and do what's best for them is
defending
something that is completely not right. Right. Regardless that they don't like how a teenager talks to them, they don't approve of how they're dressed. I am not going to apologize for my kids having breasts, or like, they are human beings. And if you sexualize them because you can't take what they have, that's your fucking problem, and you need to work on it. That police officer was allowed in a scenario, in a probability, right? If that was my kid, I would smack her. Now, their mom being a white woman, but because she has mixed children, they give her no room. They shut her down every single time she goes to this school. They kick them out when she starts to talk because she gets emotional. Well, I promise you, I can be cold-blooded, removed of emotion. This white police officer threatened to smack my kid. And Elyria High is backing it. They did not remove the cop. They said it was a scenario. He wasn't talking. He tried to tell me he's not talking about smacking your kid. He was saying if it was his kid, he would smack that kid. Bitch.
That doesn't even make sense.
Stop playing with me. I would like some support.
And he said it in the heat of the conversation. I would have understood if he said it after, like not even after, but if he would, like, it's still not okay. It doesn't make it okay at all.
If a student can't go around saying, well, if this was my school, I'd beat your ass. I don't know why it's okay for a cop, forget the color, for a cop, police officer of the law, to go around making scenarios about smacking people's kids. So I would appreciate it if you watch this video, that you share it and you post it and you get someone to come out here and help protect my children, because this is not okay. And if it's happening to them, than it's happening to other kids of color. And if you're a true harm reductionist, if you believe in recovery, whatever it is that you believe in, you don't have to like us to support us. I would really like some support. A police officer of the law just threatened to smack a 17-year-old student.
It's a minor. Like, that's crazy.
And then they want to they want to gaslight me and her mom and say, well, he wasn't saying that he was going to smack your daughter. He was just giving a scenario that if that was his kid, that he would smack her. And I said, can you tell me the definition of abuse? And he said, well, verbatim, word for word, the definition of abuse. I said, listen, I said, stop treating me like I'm ignorant. Do you know what abuse is? Can your officer verbally say that he's gonna abuse someone? He tried every way. And I want to let it be known too that he put me on speakerphone as soon as he found out who I was and what I was calling for. He put me on speakerphone. Because he was being directed. He was being directed because he was they're in a tight spot. They say that they're not targeting my kids. They say that they're not picking them out of the crowd because they're black. They say that they want to support our children because they believe in their education. But they will allow this cop to threaten physical harm in the route of a scenario in front of her, other people, and their mom. I would appreciate it if this is shared as far as it can go, because Elyria High has a problem, and their problem is me. You do not get to threaten my kids and be in a position of authority and responsibility and continue to what? Teach? Lie? Yeah, no. You know my number. You know my inbox. I would appreciate it if somebody sends this to someone that can actually do something other than give support, verbal support. I need action. This white cop just threatened to smack my kid in a scenario, and the school would rather suspend her, kick her out, tell her to go home, tell her mother that she's not safe.
What's happening? You are tuned into the Real Black Coffee, no sugar, no cream, straight talk with Valerie. And this is one of those episodes that I entitle, What the Hell You Talking About? Sexualization of any type is inappropriate. We just listened to a father, keyword father, talk about incidents where his girls were deemed as dressed inappropriate. If the father feels like what the girls have on are okay, it's okay, then everybody should feel like that, because a father is the most protective thing you can have over your girls. I know my father was that way with me. If he didn't think I looked okay, I'm not going out the house looking like that. So if the father, I'm not discounting the mother, she probably bought those clothes and thought that outfit was okay in conjunction with the father. Maybe it was a group decision. I don't know how they arrived with the garments. But all I know is if daddy said it's okay, then that means a couple of things. Number one, I don't feel like my daughter is bringing negative or inappropriate attention to herself wearing this. The next thing, I approve of it. I'm comfortable with it. I'm not in fear of anything happening to my child as a result of what she's wearing. End of conversation. But at Elyria High, it seems that they want to pick and choose what's right and what's not right. My thing is, if you have to use that type of discretion, wear damn uniforms. Simple. White shirt, khaki pants. But the way this young lady has been blessed, keyword blessed, her curves and her thighs and everything else will be relevant to someone who's looking for it. They gonna find it. So I get excited when the producer of the show comes forth, but tonight she's not in that cap. Tonight she's with us with her community activist hat on, none other than my warrior sister, my friend, the founder of Value Black Lives and Survivors Speaks, Trisha Duckworth.
What's up, Detroit, Highland Park, and all the surrounding areas, all the Black Coffee listeners and viewers on Facebook and everywhere where you might be viewing. Thank you, Valerie, for always, having me on. And, you say producer, that's being nice because we know you are really producing these days. But I'm just grateful for your platform and just the issues, that you tackle, the hard issues, just such as this one. When I heard about it, for me, it saddened me because so many things could have happened and taken place before this last incident. And so, it'll be interesting to speak with the family. My heart goes out to the family, to the girls, because I'm sure it doesn't feel good to be a kid and to have adults to sexualize you in this type of manner. It's actually really kind of disgusting to me. And so, again, thanks, Valerie, for having me on so we can talk about this hard conversation and hopefully get to some action. I'm ready for the action part of it, but we'll get there soon enough.
Thank you, my warrior sister. And when she say action, she means action, like shut down a major freeway action. So she's not playing around. I love her. We are a dynamic duo, and I certainly appreciate her being on the show with us tonight. Let's move to the family. I'd like to introduce Mr. Kyle Johnston, and this is his daughter that this is happening to. Say hello to everyone, Kyle.
Hi. Hi. My name's Kyle, and for those people that do know me, like I lead with my heart, I met Crystal when I was 14 years old, man. And ever since then, off and on, we've been in each other's lives. When I came into her life, she had a family already started, and they welcomed me with open arms. 7 years, 7, 8, 9 years, and all of a sudden we have our own kid together. And I didn't grow up with the family structure that I wanted. My mom passed away when I was 11, but family really meant a lot to me. And now that I'm in a position where I can give back and I can protect and I can teach and I can get a phone call, man, and I get told that they're being harassed, they're being targeted. So yeah, first I was like, okay, well, let me see what you're wearing, and then I check and see what's going on, and then we start seeing how things are happening. And I get to the school and I sit down and I talk with these administrators. And not like, I don't need to paint a picture of hate because it's already there. This administrator did not appreciate Nevaeh telling her that I'm not scared of you. She didn't appreciate Nevaeh telling her that she's jealous of her. She didn't appreciate Nevaeh calling her out on being racist. So once she did that, they have been at her ever since. And then anytime I go to this school, the children in the school, the students, the young adults in this school are wearing whatever they want. But I don't understand why y'all targeting these two. You wait an hour or two once they're in class, teachers don't even complain, and you walk in the room and you point at her and you tell her, come here. You try to isolate my children by putting them in the back of a room where you can lock them inside of a door that they can't walk out of if they want to. And then you have police officers, all white cops. All the administrators are white. Nothing against that. But I don't understand where our voice is at. When I was at the school the first time, I asked them, do you have any advocacy here for the students, for the parents, anyone that speaks for the students? And they said no. They said it's the school, and then the students have their parents. So what if the parents aren't active? So that means y'all get to do what you want.
It exactly means that. I looked at a picture of the high school, and it seemed relatively large, like there would be at least a couple of thousand students that go there. So how the hell, that's like finding a needle in a haystack looking for your daughter every day, and it's a couple of thousand kids coming in and out.
They said there's 2,000 students in and out of those doors every day.
Wow. Okay. That's the perfect introduction to the mom. Let's bring Nevaeh's mother on. Crystal, say hello to everyone.
Hello.
So, Crystal, give us your take. Like, how do you feel about this happening to your child?
I was lost. Honestly, I didn't know where to turn. I actually cried to my oldest because I'm like, I felt like I couldn't help her anymore. And she's being targeted every time she walks through those doors. And I didn't know what to do. And so I know that Kyle he has his whole movement with Drop the Label, and I just reached out to him and I asked him, like, I don't know what to do. So then that's where we're at now. And that's how I became to be on the show.
Thank you for that. Marquise, can you post a picture for those who can see? Post a picture of Nevaeh and Jalea on the screen. And for those of you that can see, you will see what they have on. And they're basically what I would call t-shirt dresses. I don't know another way. T-shirt, one has on like a t-shirt dress and one has on like a tank dress. I don't see anything drastically wrong with this to go to the extreme that this school is going to. It makes no sense. You should not have a policy. Not all policies are black and white, but that line shouldn't be blurred on what's appropriate and what's not. If you're having an issue, Elyria High School, then you issue uniforms and you say you wear these khaki pants and this white shirt every day. But if you're leaving it up to the parents to decide what's appropriate for their kids to wear, then that's who it should be left up to. Not after the parents buy the clothes for the kids, the children get dressed, they leave school, and then you say, first of all, what the hell you doing locking a kid in a room? It could be a fire or anything. You not Joe Clark? I saw that happening in a Hollywood movie, Lean on Me, where he chained the doors, but you don't lock a kid in the room where they can't get out. That's a violation right there. It could be a fire or anything going on while you have that damn kid locked up in the room. Number one. Number two, yes, it's a problem because Nevaeh speaked up. You should be black and you should be quiet. That was an issue of that woman saying stay in a child's place. But that child knew that she was being wronged by this administrator. And I'm sure and for her to respond and say, I'm not scared of you, because she realizes that you, Elyria High School administrator, you're using suspension and all these other things as a scare tactic, almost like a bully. And she's letting you know that's not going to work on me. My parents said this is cool, so it's cool. But enough of me talking about Nevaeh. Let's meet Nevaeh. Nevaeh, are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, honey. Welcome to the show. And introduce yourself to everyone.
My name's Nevaeh. And my mom is Crystal. My name's Nevaeh. And I'm one of the people suffering from this situation.
And how does that make you feel when that happens to you?
Dad, I already told my mom that, like, first, off rip, I'm going to be honest, I do not like school at all. I don't. Like, if I didn't have to go, I wouldn't. If it wasn't for my grades, I wouldn't even do it. But
Okay.
I care about my grades. And due to them suspending me and blowing the situation out of proportion, it's making me not be there, you know, not be in class, not being able to learn like the rest.
I understand that. Describe some of the things, because you know sagging is in, people sagging to the degree they draws are showing. Do you see that at school?
Yeah, I see butts, like, sticking out of pants. Forget the sagging. Yeah, sagging, but butts sticking out of pants too. Like,
Wow. So in my mind, with you experiencing some of the things that you just described, that room that they locked you in, it shouldn't have been you in there by your damn self. It should have been a whole bunch of people in the room.
yes, I agree. But they don't agree. They see things a very particularly different way. So, yeah,
That's ridiculous.
I feel the same.
Let me check back in with Trisha. Trisha, after watching the video, hearing what Kyle and Crystal and Nevaeh has to say about this situation, what do you have to say?
Couple of things. One, first of all, we do understand that when it comes to secondary education or what do they call it, K through 12 education, they have rules and guidelines, right? They have certain dress codes. They had them when we were in school. I mean, it's just the way that it is. They have certain dress codes and things that you have to follow, right? Here's the part that concerns me. The singling out part. Now, if you're saying that this is not okay for my kid to dress like this and everybody else kid, then we can talk. Because I get it. I get it. You got your rules and rules are to be enforced, and I get it. Why is my child the only one being kicked out of school? Why we got bellies out? Why we got crop tops? Why we got booties out? Why all these things out? But you are singling out my kids because you don't like the way that they dress. That's bullying. It's not just an administrator doing their job. So if this is the tone or the banter that's coming from administration, no. You're not just doing your job, because see, if you was doing your job, you would be ensuring that all kids follow the guidelines as far as the dress code is concerned. That's the number one problem that I have. I ain't got no problem that they say that, you know, kids shouldn't dress this way and that way. Look, we all had to go through it. That's just how it is. They have their rules and their regulations. My problem is that they're being enforced with these girls and nobody else. So you are now singling these girls out. You are bullying these girls, and I want to know why. Why are you doing that? Because obviously there's a reason. And I get it. You know, I am like Vea. You know, I would be like, excuse me, to my teacher. Now, I might have paid some consequences when I got home because my daddy ain't play talking back to the teachers. But I still challenge the teachers. And I'm going to tell you something. When a kid does that to an adult, and then an adult takes that in an offense, it's, in my opinion, that's the target right there. How dare you talk to me like that? So I can't get you like this, so I'm gonna get you like this. And so for me, I just think it's inappropriate. I think if they want to enforce guidelines, then make all the kids wear uniforms. You know, do something like that that's productive. Don't create friction. Especially, it pains me to hear this baby say she don't even like to go to school. So now what you're doing is pushing her further out the door, which to us, they don't understand. That also increases the school to prison pipeline. Not to say speak that over your kids. I'm just saying these are some of the realities of what they're doing that they're not even understanding, when there are so many ways that they could make this situation better.
I agree. You know, power to you, Nevaeh. Fist up.
Yeah.
For standing up for yourself, baby, because you did not have to take that form of what I'm going to say is abuse. You are being bullied. And I don't care what the Elyria High School administration, school board, or anyone else has to say about it. The quick and easy fix to this issue is to institute uniforms. And if you're not doing that, you are leaving to someone's discretion what is right or wrong. And because Nevaeh has stood up to this lady, said, I'm not scared of you, and all of these other things, she automatically has a problem with this young lady. And so, yes, she's targeted, because if you made it past, if anything else, you should have someone standing by the front door then. You know, back in my day, I would have on my leather mini skirt and my crop top when I could, and doing all of the things that I needed to do. And I would stand in line at the club. And standing in line at the club, you know what that looks like with the VIP sections and all of that. They can pick and choose who gets in. You, and you, according to how you're dressed. But this is not a VIP club. This is a school. Yet and still, perhaps you should have someone standing at the front and doing a check-in process if this is what you want to do, and you don't want Nevaeh to feel targeted, because at this point you are targeting. If you have over 2,000 students in your school, how in the world do you target them each and every day? So what we're going to do is go to a musical break, and when we come back, we are going to have a conversation about this incident and what we think should happen moving forward. Stay tuned.
From the moment I met you, something whispered in my ear that you were the one. And I had won by merely becoming a contender for a prize that the world will surely envy. You were more than just beautiful and friendly. Cause see, I instantly wanted you to see the end with me. We were made for an eternity. You reminded me of my mortality, cause at that very second I thought that I would die if you weren't the one God had chosen to love me.
A gift from telling my heart desires. A love romance so fierce with fire. My real revenge supply my needs. Yet I was lost, but you found me. Perfect is the heart for peace. All my love I guarantee. You and I make unity. Perfect peace is what you bring to me.
Now hold up. I don't give my heart away with ease, but when you walk by, I feel a breeze that makes me want to take a chance and open my mind to our romance. Now I know you're not out here playing games. I thought you were tripping when you wrote Imani than your last name. And I admit that, babe, I feel the same. Come through, boo, let's do this thing, yeah.
Downfalls make it worth it, put our pride aside. Against the odds, we survive, leave the past behind. Saw you walking with some friends, took a bold approach. Introduction and kiss your hand, I be doing the most. still not aggressive. First sight of your smile, in the presence of a blessing. No love in your wife, so exchange of my numbers. FaceTime for hours, a few laughs, and now I wonder. One look in your eyes, my divider bring us closer to trust, closer to love. Entangled, thinking married my crush. No pressure until you press it. Now I'm seeing you blush. No rush, no extra flexing. I'm just feeling you such. All these fights from my exes brought out pleasure from pain. Haven't loved in a while, so I'm ready for change. A heart made whole in this world so cold. Black love, everlasting be our story that's told.
This story one day will be told about the love that took my soul and taken full control. I believe that life is gonna change. I'm not feeling the same. I feel something's on the way. I'm ready for change. I'm ready for change. I'm ready for love to fill my heart, yeah.
I'm ready for change.
I'm ready for change. I'm ready for love to fill my heart, yeah. I'm ready for change. I'm ready for change. I'm ready for love to fill my heart, yeah. I'm ready for change. I'm ready for change. I'm ready for love to fill my heart, yeah. I'm ready for change.
You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? Just because I walk as if I have oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like moons and like suns with the certainty of tides, just like hope springing high, still I rise. Did you want to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries? Does my sassiness upset you? Don't take it so hard just because I laugh, as if I have gold mines digging in my own backyard. You can shoot me with your words, you can cut me with your lies, you can kill me with your hatefulness, but just like life, I rise. Does my sexiness offend you? Oh. Does it come as a surprise that I dance as if I have diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of history's shame I rise. Up from a past rooted in pain I rise. A black ocean leaping and wide, welling and swelling and bearing in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear I rise. Into a daybreak miraculously clear I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the hope and the dream of the slave. And so, wow. There I go.
Welcome back to the real black coffee, no sugar, no cream. And you heard a song called Ready for Change because we are ready for change. Something has to change. You know, some of us as black adults in white America, AMERIKKKA, our shoulders are big enough to stand some of the injustices and things that we must go through. But when you come for our babies, that's another issue. We've seen so many kids killed by cops, and just by Nevaeh speaking up for herself. And then the cop says, if that was my daughter, I would slap her. Well, if Mr. Police Officer, if you would slap your own daughter, then you would beat the shit out of mine. And that's a problem. After After Ready for Change, we heard And Still I Rise because Maya Angelou gracefully put into perspective the curves and the build of the black woman. Her thighs, her hips, and you can't stand it. And she had to laugh. Ha ha! And she clapped because she knows that some people are laughing at this particular moment. Nothing's funny. Nothing's funny when you come for someone's baby. Because of what God gave her, you say it's a sin. You're making it a sin. You're making a mockery of it. You're saying that is wrong. And then when the father comes up to the school to have a conversation, you admit that you know the officer said that he would put hands on, and then you want to try to clean it up a little bit. There is no cleaning up Elyria High School. The only thing you can do to clean this up is to change your policy, because that gray area is too damn wide under these circumstances. And what about the babies who do not have parents that stand up like Kyle and Crystal, or maybe are unaware that this issue is even taking place? This incident can cause low self-esteem, depression, and so many other things that this adult drama can bring about in the form of trauma. So we're going to go back to Mr. Johnston. Mr. Johnston, what do you feel needs to be done about this situation? What is your solution to this situation?
I'll be honest with you. There's a lot of things that I stand up for. I do not play when it comes to the truth and injustice and stigma and shame and systemized racism. And then you add children that I love, right? You add the little girls that have become young women. You add the ladies that my 5-year-old idolizes, you know, and what I'll tell you what I want. They won't like it, right? I want their jobs, but I won't do that, because I'm not going to be hateful like them and remove everything that allows them to feed themselves and their family. But what I would like to see is that instead of having a dress code that's dictated off of a maybe could have racism undertones, but maybe sick-minded individual that sexualizes young women, because they don't have pictures, they don't have nothing really in writing or concrete that shows what a person can or can't wear. They have this older woman that's probably, who knows, deciding if this is okay or not. And out of 2,000-something children that walk past you every day, you pick out these two. And then this one stands up for herself, so now you pick her out every day. And you guys just don't pick her out. You think because she's alone that you can have Mr. Cop here that stands about 6'1", stand over her and stare her down, right? You think you can stand in the hallway and glare at her, right? You think it's okay. It's not. I want your job, but I'll trade your job for better guidelines. I'll trade your job for a public apology. I'll give you your job if you make these rules valuable for everybody and not just what you see fit. Because honestly, I don't want her there. And that cop, honestly, Mr. If that was my child, I'd smack her. The cop that said that he's okay with corporal punishment. This cop said he is okay with corporal punishment. I don't want you in the school. I don't want you watching over kids that you are openly admitting that you would strike if you had it your way. There is a principal that I talked to that tried to muffle what was happening. And I expressed to him, I said, is there someone you care about? Is there someone that you'd give the world for? I said, you'd burn the world down just to keep them safe? And he said, yes. I said, okay. So imagine I walk up to you and I look at this person that you love dying, like you'll kill for this person, and I say, I'm going to smack the shit out of you. And he got quiet. He's like, well, that's not exact. He said, that's not exactly what the officer was referring. I said, please, I said, do not insult my intelligence. You haven't been a part of the situation because you're allowing these, and I'm just going to say it, bigoted white women to dictate to my kids what's okay and what's not. And you're allowing them to dominate them every single day they come into school.
Yeah, that's traumatic in and of itself. Mom, Crystal, what would you like to see happen?
I would like to see, I'm on the same lines as Kyle. I just want it to be equal and fair. I don't want every day that my daughter gets pinpointed out of 2,000 kids, that number came out of their mouth. They have 2,000 kids coming in and out that door, but yet my daughter is the only one in that office. And the last time she got suspended for 5 days because she told them she wasn't going to go in that room and be locked in it. They called it something.
Is she either be in this paper or the people behind it?
Is that like the in-school suspension room or something?
No, she's out of school suspension for 5 days. Oh, yeah, I guess, okay, they, the due diligence, they wanted to speak to her about why she was being suspended. They already know, we all know why she's being suspended, because you feel like her clothes are inappropriate. So she kindly told them, like, I do not feel comfortable talking with you. So I get attitudinal or argumentative, and I don't want to increase my days of being suspended.
Beforehand, they suspended me for being, basically being disrespectful, becoming argumentative. They suspended me for that. So I tried not to, say anything or put myself in any situation where I had to say anything. Because if I went back there, it would have been worse. Because I already, when you already don't care for somebody like that, it already gives you an aura like, okay, well, I might not want to be around them because this could happen. So that's how I took it. And I tried to explain that to them. But since I'm not doing what they say when they say do it, now I'm suspended for 5 days.
Instead of the 2 days, she got suspended for the 5.
So 2 days was for her. 2 days was for her clothing, and the other 3 was for her speaking up for herself.
Yeah, they're like, since you want to get smart, then I'm gone.
Right.
That right there, that is ego. That's ego.
Yes, and then let me also note that the room that they are being locked in is right across the hall from the room of the 2 administrators that keep pinpointing my daughter, who literally sit in the room and talk, excuse my language, shit about her, and she can literally hear them talking about her, and then they'll want to go in the room and talk to her like nothing's ever happened. Well, she done heard you talking shit about her for 5 minutes. Now you want to come in here and act like you ain't said nothing wrong.
I'm in the wrong way. I don't want to speak to him.
Just taunting.
And that's when she'll be like, exactly. But yet that's where I felt lost at, because I tried to explain to them. And even me being a mom going in there, I tried to explain, like, yes, I know my daughter. I've raised her since she was a baby, and she's 17 years old, and I know she's got an attitude. But when she's trying to tell you that she does not want to talk to you because she doesn't want to make matters worse, she's trying to respect you even though that you're not respecting her.
Absolutely. And we have a comment from Ashley Roser. I hope I'm saying that right. The administration is using toxic masculinity and white supremacy to try and push her down. Nevaeh is too smart for that. She's self-aware and won't be bullied. I agree. Thank you for that comment, because she's standing up for herself and she knew it was wrong. Nothing was wrong with her saying, hey, I don't have anything to say. In a court of law, you don't have to speak up until you have an attorney. So look at here. You don't have to say anything in the presence of these other adults without your parents. And there was nothing wrong with you saying that. So Nevaeh, what would you like to see happen as a result of this? What would you want changed?
Okay, I don't even care about the teachers having their jobs. It's just the fairness. Like, if I have to do it, so do other people. You can't just come to me and tell me and then expect me to do it when everybody else is doing it. Like, I mean, tell me not to do it when everybody else is doing it. But then we'll say that, and then they'll be like, well, it's not about everybody else. No, it's not about the person. It is about the clothing on that person. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I have to change, so do they. Don't just come to me and come in my face and tell me I got to do this and that. No. Because then how am I supposed to look at you and respect you and all that if you're not telling everybody else to do it? It's not fair.
I agree.
No.
Double standards. So, I agree, sweetheart, and I salute you and respect you for standing up for yourself. There is nothing wrong with standing up for yourself. It is not right what they did. You're not the only person in the school that is dressed inappropriately. I guarantee it. If I could show up there tomorrow morning, I'm sure I can pick and choose on what I feel is appropriate. The problem I see also is the administrator probably wouldn't allow her daughter to wear that. Or excuse me, or my son, but this is not your daughter. This is not your son. So you need to clean your policy up and be more inclusive of everyone.
That was actually a remark from the officer that threatened violence, and the Miss Oka, Julie Oka, the administrator. They said they looked at me one morning when she wore something that they didn't like, and they asked me, did I feel it was inappropriate? And I told them, I do not feel that my daughter's clothing is inappropriate. And they were like, well, there's the problem. And for the officer, like, I went in there, I wasn't hot-headed. I went in there and I asked the lady, I said, listen, I want to talk. I don't want to argue. I don't want to fight. And she was like, okay. And I said, you know, I've been coming to get my kids for 3 days now because my parents and everybody helps me pick up and take my kids to school. So I was taking them for 3 days so I can see. And I watched a heavier set white female with a bra, literally a bra and a jacket. And when I said that, that's when they were like, oh, well, we're not talking about other kids. I said, yeah, you're correct. We're not talking about the other kids, but we're talking about the fairness about my child and what she's wearing and how other people can wear what they want to wear. And they're not being sent home or being suspended or being put in an office and ISA or whatever the case is. And then that's when the officer asked me, and I'm just like, he made our conversation go completely the wrong way because he didn't even need to be involved at that moment. Mm-hmm. And he was just in the doorway, standing over me, just trying to intimidate me. And that's when they asked me if I felt it was inappropriate, and I told them no. And they both looked at each other and they were like, well, that's the problem. It's not the problem, though, because your policy states they are allowed to wear whatever they feel free as long as it's not a distraction. But you're pulling my kid out of class even though nobody's complaining.
They will let me be in class for a whole hour and 30 minutes, and then they will come get me out of my class. And then they'll tell me, well, you need to put a jacket on, or they'll be like, you need to call your mom. If you guys were going to do this in the first place, why let me walk through the doors? Why let me go to class? Like, there's no point. If I'm not allowed to be in class or in that school period, don't let me go to class.
I understand,
yeah, the last
sweetie.
2 times she's went to class and they pulled her out.
And I was wrong. I did do, because my attitude is out of this world. And it's super out of this world when I'm not getting listened to, but I can listen to you. You know, like, so it gets pretty wild, you know, pretty dark. I did say some things, but it's because they're not listening. They're not listening, and they want to keep sending me home. Or if I don't do this, then I got to do this. I'm suspended for 5 days. Seriously? So now that I told you in the comp that I'm not scared of you guys, now I got to be suspended for 5 days? Seriously? This is what they're stooping so low. You guys are ruining my grades. You're ruining, like, what are you doing? Over some dress code. Over some dress code that doesn't even matter because you're not enforcing it to the rest.
I agree, sweetheart. So we need a call to action. But before we get to that piece, Trisha, I want to hear from you. What do you feel needs to be done about this situation?
Couldn't wait till my turn. First and foremost, we live in an era right now where our police are killing us, literally, for no reason at all, because we twitched or we moved or we ran or whatever. We see what just happened right here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. The young man took off running and the police ran behind him. Like, I mean, it was almost like he was on WWF or something, or WWE. He slams him down to the ground and he's doing all these wrestling moves and then literally shoots him in the back of the head. Now, the interesting part about it is that they have a rule that says no chasing after folks. So you just murdered this man when your policy said if he runs, that you're supposed to let him go. See, all of these things are ego. These are ego. This officer that you're dealing, this is his ego. He wants to be right. He wants to prove a point concerning your child and not even understanding the harm or the damage of his statements. What needs to be done is he doesn't need to be around children. He doesn't need to be around children at all. If he thinks that it's okay, yes, he didn't say he would smack the shit out of her. He didn't say that. But what he said was, if that was his child, he would do that. So just like you said, Valerie, if you would do that to your own child, what the hell am I supposed to think you would do to mine?
Thank you.
He does not need to be around children. And any administrator that would protect this white supremacist, because that's exactly what he is, a white supremacist, any administrator that would protect him, they need to go as well. Now, as far as the administrators that keep worrying about Nevaeh's clothes, I would say this. A, you are or probably have already set yourself up for a lawsuit. So just newsflash on that, because what you've done is discrimination by way of sexualizing a child's clothes, that if in fact you thought, and let me just pause, let me paperclip, I'm sorry, I got so much to say. Do you know, I believe that child would have changed her clothes a long doggone time ago if they would have came at her the right way. But because of who she is, because she is just a little warrior, and I feel it in my spirit about her, because she's just this little warrior, she like, oh, no, you ain't gonna do that to me, and you ain't doing that to them. So, I just feel it. I feel her, and if they would have just took the time to listen to her and reason with her. Because you know what I would have said? Ooh, sweetheart, you look so beautiful. But you know what? Some of these little boys around here is, they ain't right. I would have said it in a manner that respected her. Yeah, and not made her feel as if she's a criminal because of how she is dressing. It is inappropriate. The way they handled it was just, and I want to know, where's the school social worker? Where is the school social worker in all of this? Because a school social worker, if it was an issue with her clothes, doggone it, you should have took her shopping then. If you worried about her clothes, then go buy her something. But she doesn't need you to buy her anything. What she needs you to do is listen to her.
And she said on several instances, they are not listening. On more than one occasion, she said they are not listening.
That's it. That's the key.
And speaking about what happened in Grand Rapids, Michigan, that young man hadn't murdered anyone. He was a young man from Congo. His parents brought him here to basically for political asylum because of everything that was happening in Congo. The young man was maybe 21 years old. The plate that was on his vehicle did not match the vehicle. He asked the boy, "Do you speak English?" So it was clear that he didn't understand exactly what was going on, and additional clarification was needed. So I'm going to ask the administrators at Elyria High School, do you understand English? The child has said to you a couple of times she wants to be listened to. There should have been a issue brought up to your school board or your disciplinary committee to have a discussion on what your dress code policy is long before this incident, and you subjected yourself to a lawsuit, because I certainly hope that the Johnston family files a lawsuit for discrimination against Elyria High School. And they don't mind paying. They shoot and kill us, they pay. They wrong us, they pay sometimes. They wrongfully convict us and lock us up for 30 years of our life, they pay, maybe. But it's worth a shot when you feel like you've been wronged. It is worth a shot to stand up for yourself and what you believe in. But I have another question. If we're breaking or trying to break or pretending to break the school to prison pipeline, why the hell is a police officer in your school in the first place? I don't get that. That's intimidating in and of itself, to have an officer present every day. He doesn't have to be in a school standing over kids. If you want to have a school resource officer, that's fine. I get it. Nothing's going on no worse anywhere else in America than is going on in Detroit. But the officer doesn't have to be in the school behaving the way that he's behaving. Let them be a phone call away, like most police officers are. So,
to make a statement, the police station is literally not even 2 minutes away from the high school.
Okay, so it's not even necessary for him to be in there standing guard.
Exactly.
There's enough time for him to get there if a real incident, because see, here's the problem. It's a behavior management issue. The administrators in that school should be able to handle any and everything that's going on in that school. After all of the shootings and everything in Columbine, if you don't have some type of emergency action plan in place, that's what the hell you need to be working on, instead of bullying this baby every day.
Thank you.
So why is the police standing guard at the school anyway and checking out girls' clothes and anything else? I just have a whole issue with all of this, because she's in there alone by herself when these incidents happen. She's being racially profiled and inappropriately targeted. As a result of that, is it anything that the parents would like to say before we get to our call of action, or anything that Nevaeh would like to say?
Yeah. So I want to say two things. I remember when we went back in there, because whatever the situation was dealt with, and then they told us that we had to leave. This was another day, it's crazy how many days. I can't even count and keep up. But we basically left, and then we came back in because me and Jalea felt like we didn't get our side of the story, shared. So we went back in with Kyle and talked to them, and Jalea, she was mad. She was upset, my sister. And he told them that we will not be stuffed into no little box. We will not just sit here and listen to the rules, especially when the rules that y'all are enforcing is not enforced to everyone else. Okay, I wanted to say that. Okay, and then now, my other thing. So I remember when I was there, this wasn't the last time, this was the time before last. Basically, what is her name?
Oka.
Miss
Julie Oka.
Miss Julie Oka, or, there's another lady too who'll be there. But basically, she only gets super hostile when the cop does come in.
Oh, okay.
She only gets super hostile when the cop does come in. The cop was standing over me, and then that's when I told him, I do not fear you. You know what I'm saying? I don't at all. Just because he said something to me, and I didn't listen to her. She basically tried to tell me to go back there in that room.
They told you to get off the phone.
Oh,
she
yeah.
literally was on the phone with me. I was talking to her, and I remember the day she's talking about, because my heart was breaking, and I literally had to yell at her that she was Black. Like, those are the only words I could say to her, because I was in fear. Like, she told them, I literally was on the phone with her, and I heard everything. And when she was on the phone in the main lobby, and they wanted her to get off the phone, or go in the back room. So she told me she was getting off the phone. And then they were like, well, no, you can come in the back room. And she's like, I don't want to be locked in that room. I'm getting off the phone.
There's no reason.
And then that's when the cop stood over her. And that's when she, explained to him that she's not in fear of him. And then I can just hear commotion. She was no longer talking to me. They were all, in a hostile moment. And I'm just yelling on the phone that she is Black. They're going to arrest you. And that day when I went in, they asked me, does it bother you that your daughter almost got arrested? And I looked at them and I'm asking them, why did she almost get arrested? For clothing? For race? For her not wanting to be locked in a room where she can't get out of? Like, why was she almost arrested? Because she told you she didn't fear you? Like, so there's a lot that it's just wrong.
We need to get Ben Crump on it. Ben Crump is the top guy that handles all of these type of discrimination issues, but we need a high power attorney of someone of that nature to get on it. So thank you so much. As we prepare to close, Kyle, do you have any closing remarks? What is your call to action? What would you like to see happen as far as a call to action? What do you want people to do? How can they support you and your family?
One, I would like for the parents in Elyria, Lorraine, Sheffield, you name it. We're really all pretty much close to each other, but nobody talks. There's no board where we all sit and conversate. We don't know what's happening with each other's households or kids, and this allows them to take control, right? They can pick at us one by one and get away with it. Two, if the police need to be there, I would appreciate that they stand outside. They need to leave school matters with the school and the teachers and the administrators. They don't need to be in the back, because what that is a threat. The cops are there because when Elyria High got bigger and they took on more kids, they took on a lot of Black and indigenous children of color. So there goes the fear part. So let's make sure you guys are here to protect us. So you're telling me every time this cop shows up, you grow wings and you want to start talking down to and not being supportive of. I knew that this was a race issue when the girls mentioned, because we went back into school, because when we walked outside the first time I showed up, they were both crying and they were saying, Mom, they're lying to you, they're lying to you, they're lying to you. So I said, okay, let's go back in here and have a conversation where you were all at the table. And the girls mentioned a race issue, and both of them ladies started laughing. And then they said, oh, here we go, the Black card. When you have the balls to say, here we go, the Black card, that instantly lets me know that you either are racist, you're a bigot, or you don't think that race is a problem, which makes you all three. Like, I don't understand why it even got to this point. They told us the last time that we talked that we will be sending you an email because we, the school and the board, will sit down with you and tell you what we are going to do with your kid. I would like for that day, on that day, when they give us the date of when they're going to sit down and tell us what we're going to do with your kid, I would really appreciate if our city, if people that are able to support, a phone call, an email. I want them to know that there's more than just our family invested in support of the change that needs to happen for our children to feel safe.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Anything that Black Coffee can do to support that initiative, but it would be nice for a lot of people to come to that meeting and show support. Let the police officer do a real job. I'm sure he would love to stand in that meeting and wonder why it's 100 Black people in the room. They'll probably have us all surrounded. They might call the National Guard our scary asses over some dress clothes for some kids. But anyway, when you get that date, let's try to put
I have it.
Okay. When is the date?
It's Wednesday, April 27th at 8 o'clock in the morning.
So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to the founder of Survivor Speaks and Value Black Lives. So what should happen on Wednesday, April the 27th? How should we go about making our voices heard around this country and especially in Elyria on behalf of Nevaeh?
I think a couple things. First, we need to see if there's each school has what's called an Opens Meeting Act. So is this a private meeting? Is this a board meeting? We want to know if this is a public meeting because the public should be invited into the meeting. We would like them to invite the public in two ways, in person and virtually, because virtually then we can all come in and we can be there in the meeting as well and be able to share our disgust for the situation and how it was handled. And then I would say, see who your allies are in the area. Get as many people to that meeting as you can. I don't know what the girls' relationship is like with the students, but I tell you something nowadays, these students are organizing walkouts. I've seen these students do it across the country. Oh, you messing with her? Okay, well, you messing with us too, and we're gonna walk out. I've seen it done, so I don't know if that could be an option as well. It could also be a letter writing campaign to the board and to the principal. It could be a Twitter storm against the school. It could also be a phone blast. We did a phone blast before where we called them people every hour. Every hour that the business was open, we had people calling every hour. And so there's so many things that can be done. And I think in all, we just want fairness and what's right, and not for these young women to be targeted and sexualized by adults who are uncomfortable with their sexuality, obviously.
Thank you. With that being said, we're on our way to close. However, stay tuned. Stay tuned to the Black Coffee, No Sugar, No Cream page on Facebook, Survivor Speaks page on Facebook, and Value Black Lives. Also, Kyle has a page called Drop the Labels. Whatever action we decide to take moving forward, you will be able to find out what that is. But I love the email blast and the phone blast. Just call all day long on the 26th. That would be amazing. They would just go crazy. They wouldn't know what to do in Elyria, Ohio, because y'all not about that life out there perping with Barney Fife in the school. Please come to the D and show how it's really, we can show you how it's really done out there playing if you don't sit down somewhere. So with that being said, I want to thank our guest. Thank you, Kyle. Thank you, Crystal. And an extra special thank you to Nevaeh. You handled yourself like a trooper, and we appreciate that.
Thank you.
All righty, you have been listening to another episode of the Real Black Coffee, No Sugar, No Cream, where I don't try to spill the tea or make you feel dazed like you drank a shot of cheap liquor. I just try to articulate strong and powerful statements to make you see the world from a different point of view. Mine's. With that being said, we're out. Look forward to action items about this particular episode as we move forward. Good night.